Hey guys, Ellie here. Today, I bring to you another episode of Tuesday Talks. Now, this episode's going to be about my personal interests. Obviously, my channel is called Flip Flop Farmer, so most of my videos are about farm animals, farming, something to do with that. But I don't talk a whole lot or make a whole lot of videos about my personal interests outside of farming. So today, let's talk a little bit less about the Flip Flop Farmer, and let's talk a little bit more about Ellie Morrow, me. All right, so for starters, as I'm sure a lot of you know, the most important thing in my life is my relationship with God. I talk about that occasionally on my videos, and as a matter of fact, I believe that was the most requested topic for my Tuesday and Thursday talks, was to do an episode about my faith. So there'll be one of those coming very soon, rest assured. I want to take time on it, though. I want it to be really special, so I'm going to take a little more time on that one than on any of the others. So just be patient with me, but do know that it's coming. Next, obviously, I have a beautiful fiance that I love with all my heart, who I'm going to marry really, really soon here. I love to see her all the time. She's definitely an interest of mine, you could say, I guess. My mom, my dad, my grandparents, really all of my family. I love going to see them as frequently as I can. I go back and forth between 3 or 4 different locations pretty often because I want to be able to see everybody in my life. Just because I'm getting older, just because I'm becoming an adult, doesn't mean that I shouldn't get to see my parents and my grandparents and my cousins and stuff as much as I did when I was a kid. I don't want to follow into that whole stereotype of you're getting older, you don't see your family that much anymore. I don't want that to be me. I don't want that to be Megan with her relatives either. So we're doing our best to see everybody, the most that we can. After those two things, probably the animals and farming would come next, but we're not talking about that in this video because that's what my whole channel is about. Football. Oh man, I love football. I'm sure a lot of you knew that, but in case you didn't, I love American football, not soccer. I love American football with all my heart, man, I tell you. I fell in love with football when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and ever since then, I could not get enough of it. It started with me collecting the NFL football team helmets, and then it progressed into me playing football in Little League, all the way into middle school, then into high school. Wait, I don't have a picture of me playing football in high school. Whoops. But nonetheless, the passion never died out. Everybody that knew me just knew that I ate, slept, and breathed football. I love it so much, in fact, that I signed up for an adult flag football league. We play every Wednesday night. It's crazy. Once I graduated high school and I wasn't playing organized sports with kids in school or whatever, people seem to kind of just go their own way and turn their back. I'm not going to say turn their back on sports, but they just weren't as into it anymore. My friends go to college. Some of them got jobs, and then they're so tired from doing those things during the week that when it's the weekend, they want to either relax at home, play video games. The ones that want to go out will go to a concert or go to the club or something. Just, typical teenage, young adult stuff that I'm not really into. And bottom line is, football and sports kind of aren't as big of an interest in their life anymore. But since I'm not into those things, I am just craving, just thirsting for friends to play football with. But it's hard to find that. So I was very fortunate after I did some researching to find a flag football league in the North Houston area of people that are just like me, people that want to play sports but have no friends to play with. So it was great for a bunch of like-minded individuals to come together and be able to share the game of football. My dad actually went to my last flag football game, and he was able to snag these highlights for me right here. So y'all check them out.
Hey folks, Lester and Jamie here. And yeah, you're wondering, where y'all at? That ain't I'm a Survivor. That ain't Longhorn Lester's. We were actually at a sports park because LE is playing in a flag football league. And so it doesn't matter how old your kid is, he's still your kid, and you still come watch him play his sports. And so I'm going to do a little videoing tonight of LE doing his sport, and so it'll be fun. How you feel about coming to a flag football game?
Oh, here we go.
So this is interesting. So these are all adults who still try to stay active in sports. And there's quite a few. There's a lot more than what I thought there would be. So this field is full of men. All right, second down. Oh. Ellie walks into the end zone. That's it, Ellie. That's it. And all right, red ball. Ellie on a short route. Oh, he's wide open. Go, Ellie, go, Ellie! And he walks into the end zone. Nicely done, Ellie.
Pretty cool, right? Another interest. Oh, this is funny right here. Somebody left a comment on a video a few days ago saying, Ellie, how come you don't like building things like your dad does? And you know, I beg to differ on that. I think that I build a lot of things. I may not build fences per se. I may not build stalls the way that my dad does, but let me show you some of the things that I've built. You see these clay earrings right here? I made these, I built them, and it wasn't easy. Trust me, the same way that a fence takes hours and hours of using your muscles, I use my finger muscles for hours on end trying to blend different colors of clay together to get the perfect match, the perfect marble stripe pattern. My fiance spent several hours resining them to make sure they would be shiny and glowy. Take a look at this character on my video game, NBA 2K22. He looks just like me, doesn't he? I mean, look at the side-by-side right here. Doesn't he look just the same as me? That took time for me to build him to make him look just like me. It didn't happen without putting work in. And look at these badges right here. These are upgrades I had to unlock one by one to make him a good player on the game so that he could do stuff like this. I know y'all probably think it's the most ridiculous thing you ever heard, that seriously, Ellie's using Xbox as his example to justify him building things. I know it may sound silly, but in all seriousness though, that character took me several weeks to build, the same way that somebody can spend several weeks building a fence or something outdoors and they can look back and say, wow, I built that. My hard work and dedication and time went into that. And they can admire it. It's likewise in this case. When you build a fence, you probably bond, have good camaraderie with the people that are helping you build the fence. In this case, when I get on the video game, I've made so many friends, so many good, honest friends that are just genuine people from Xbox, believe it or not. And so we can take our different characters we built and go to war together. I know it's basketball, it sounds silly saying go into war together, but seriously, there's a lot of camaraderie, a lot of bonding, and like playing games with friends. Like you develop good connections. And so I know it's ridiculous, but the same way that the fence might be the stereotypical thing that someone can sit there and take pride in, I take pride in my 2K character. I really do, because he looks like me. He plays really, really good. And I think that even as silly as it sounds, I can be a light to people. I can be a positive example for anybody that I play with just by being genuine when I play Xbox. With the clay, that's a little more understandable because the clay's a business. We'll be selling the clay earrings pretty soon, so seeing somebody wearing the earrings, it's easier to sit there and admire and be like, I made a dang good earring, you know what I mean? I don't even know if I'm even conveying what I'm trying to say very good. Let's move on to different interests, because this isn't going where I wanted it to go. Xbox, if you can't already tell, is a big interest of mine. It'd be a problem if I were to get addicted to it, if I was playing all day, to where I wasn't working, to where I wasn't providing for my family, to where I was neglecting my loved ones. I think I have a good balance though, because Xbox for me, video games, is something that I use to debrief. It's something I use to relax and cool off after a long day. Me and Megan bond over it because we both enjoy Xbox. We play together. I consider it quality time with my fiance and with my cousins, Lex and Connor, and the other cousins when they come over, and Elijah. So, like all other things, Xbox is good in balance and moderation. That's a pretty big interest of mine. I've played Xbox since I was about 6 or 7 years old. You guys are probably tired of hearing about video games, so let's move on to something else. What other interests do I have besides that? I'm really having trouble thinking of what other interests I have, because that about summarizes all of them. Oh, one more I can say. One more that I can say is that I am a big people person. I love being around people. I'm not saying that most people I know don't like being around people, but my dad has talked about it before. My mom and Megan are very similar in that if they have the choice, they would prefer to be around maybe 5 or 6 people or less in a large space. They don't like big crowds per se, or settings with a large number of people. But I'm the exact opposite. I love being around a large number of people. I may not be a concert goer or anything, as I was saying earlier, but if there's one of my friends is having a party at his family's house, and they're going to have like food and snacks, and we're going to be playing charades or Pac-Man or kind of like board games, then that's my kind of setting. I'm like, heck yeah, brother, I'm in, let's do it. And so there might be 30 people in one house, but I don't get the least bit claustrophobic, or I guess I don't have social anxiety. It's just not my, I just like it. I just like that kind of setting. It's fun. And so that's something that me and Megan will definitely have to talk about, is when we start having those kind of Christmas parties at our house, or whatever the case is, how many people we want to have, because I don't want her to feel overwhelmed with 40 people coming in the house. But I don't know. There's a lot bigger things in life than that. I'm not worried about it. That's kind of one of those, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it sort of thing. You know what I mean? All right, guys. Well, I think that about summarizes most of my interest outside of farm life. But thank you to the person that suggested this. It was a really, really good idea, and I'm glad I was able to do it. I think this is going to be a good video. I really hope y'all enjoy it. Y'all be sure to let me know in the comments what you would like to see for my future Tuesday and Thursday talks. I hope you all have an incredibly blessed day. And as I always say, your boy Ellie out.